Alright friends, welcome to Unit 10. Unit 10 is going to talk about, it's a shorter unit, but it's going to talk about patterns and shapes a little bit. So we're going to start off today by just looking at some really basic patterns and remembering some of those terms that we're going to need to know moving forward. So we're going to start with numerical patterns, which are just patterns that deal with numbers. So you can see I have this set of numbers here, this string of numbers. It says 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2. Now each number or thing in a pattern is called a term. So we're going to use that a lot. We're going to say, hey, what terms do this or what term does that? So in this pattern, the first thing we need to figure out is what are the repeating terms? So what is our pattern? We have a long string of numbers, and it could keep going further, but what is actually our pattern? So I have to start to look. I see it says 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. So I can tell, this is a pretty simple one, that right there is kind of one chunk of my pattern, 2, 4, 6, and then it repeats again, 2, 4, 6, and then I bet you if I continued on, I could add a 4, and I could add a 6. So a question that you might be asked is, hey, what is the repeating terms? Well, the repeating terms isn't this whole thing. The repeating terms are just what is repeated. Well, what is repeated in this one? Our repeating terms are 2, 4, and 6. And when we write the repeating terms, we write each number with a comma in between it. So you can see right here, our repeating terms for this exact pattern we just did is 2, 4, and 6 with commas in between them. All right, let's take a look at another one. 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, and it kind of stops. Hopefully you can easily see it, that it's 6, 5, 5, and then it starts over again with 6, 5, 5, then it starts over again with 6, 5, and then it would be another 5 there. So what is our repeating pattern? Well, our repeating terms are 6, 5, and 5. Okay, let's do one more. 1, 3, 3, 1, 3. Ooh, and this one gets a little bit trickier. Now it's not as simple because it's going to use a number more than once. So I see 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. So I'm starting to see that I can't just have 1, 3, 3 as my pattern because then it goes 1, 1, 3, 3. And so I kind of can tell that my terms are going to go further than that. 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. I think I got it. 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. If I were to keep going with it, I would add a 3 next. So what are my repeating terms? 1, 3, 3, and 1. Okay. So another thing you might have to do is there are different ways we can extend a pattern. So here's a pattern, 7, 1, 7. Now we need to extend this further on. Well, I could make a pattern that just goes 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, and my repeating terms in this pattern would be 7, comma 1. But if I also started with 7, 1, 7, I could make a pattern that went 7, 1, 7, 7, 1, 7, and continue on that way. That way, my repeating terms are 7, 1, and 7. So sometimes we get a number, if they don't tell us or we don't have enough of them, then we can extend it in multiple different ways. So what you're going to do next is you're going to have a little bit of a check-in that will practice some problems like this, where you're going to have to tell me the repeating terms, and then also what would come next. And then you're going to have a couple of problems where you are going to be given kind of the very start of it, and it's going to ask you to extend the pattern in a couple of different ways. So that's your next goal, just to kind of get your brain warmed